Hello. It's Kate Bolt, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, and I am back for another Scrapbook Sunday. I've got a little memory keeping project to show you today. Now, I recently came back from Stampin' Up's Onstage demonstrator event in Rotterdam. It was amazing. It was just brilliant. I mean, what more could you want when you're filled with a room full of people who just love crafting? When I say a room, there was kind of like between 800 and 900 of us. It was just amazing. 3 days worth of fun. Now, something that demonstrators do when they go to an event quite often is swap. And by swapping, I mean you make a project, you make lots of them, and then you go around the room swapping with everyone else, and you bring home a load of inspiration. Now, I'll show you my little crate of swaps that I brought back. I have done another video showing the swaps. So yeah, have a look at that. I'll link that in the description box below if you're interested in any of them. This is my swap box. I'll just take out some of the gifts I also had. It's full. It's absolutely full of swaps. I mean, there's so many. Well, I made 50. So I've got tons of swaps and loads of inspiration to look at and play with. So lovely. So I was going to show you my swap today because it was a little bit of a memory keeping project. Just a little fun, easy one. So whilst it's not a 12 by 12 scrapbook layout, I thought it would be a great fun one to make and show you how to do it. It's so simple. So it's also a great way to use up some of your pattern papers because we all like that, don't we? If you're anything like me, I've got a stash as tall as me probably. Well, all right, maybe not that tall. I'm quite short. But, you know, I have a lot of paper, but it's still not as tall as me. Okay, so I'm looking at the beautiful perennial lavender papers. These are stunning. Absolutely love these. I've nearly got to the end of mine. Which paper am I going to use for my swap? Okay, so I think I'm just going to go with this pretty one with I mean, it's so pretty, isn't it? With these on. I could go that one, or I could go this one. I think I want to go this one. Doesn't really matter, they're all gorgeous. Right, I'm going to move this one out of the way. You can definitely use your scraps if you want. Let me just shut the door. The dog let himself in again. He does that when I'm live. I think he thinks I'm talking to somebody interesting. Well, you are interesting, but somebody he could say hello to who comes along and then goes to sleep and lets himself out as well. So the door's going. Okay, so I've got a full sheet of 12 by 12 here. I'm going to use half a sheet and you have very little waste. Okay, so I am going to cut it at 6 by 12. So you can make a couple out of a sheet. I had loads of papers and I made 50, so you can imagine I got used up some of my papers that have been sitting in my stash a while. You know, the ones that you absolutely love, especially when you first buy them and they're really pretty, but they just sit and you don't use them. So yeah, so I'm going to make one. So let's move one of those out of the way. And oh, got a bit of rubbish on my desk. So then we're going to use pretty much the whole sheet. So I am going to turn it and I'm going to cut it and I'm going to make it, keep it at 6 inches across the top. I'm going to make it 8 3/4. So that's going to be my long side, 8 3/4 inches. Okay. So I'm going to take that piece off. We're going to keep this bit because we're going to need that in a minute. All right. Okay, so with my long side still at the top edge of my trimmer here, on my scorer, I'm going to score. So move the cutting blade and I'm going to score it at 1 3/4 inches. And then I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches. So this one's all in inches. It makes it super simple. So 5.5 inches. And then I'm going to turn it back around again. So I've got the short side at the top. And on this side, I'm going to score it at 3/4 inch from the side. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I need it 3/4 inch in from both sides. I'm going to turn it all the way around 360 and bring it up to 3/4 inch. Just so I've got 3/4 inch this side and 3/4 inch score on that side. Okay, I can move my trimmer out of the way just for a minute. and we can have a look at our score lines. Where's my bone folder? I keep losing it. I don't know why. Here it is. Okay, we're going to make some nice score lines. Now, which side is going to be the outside? I think I'll have the leaves, but you know, you can do it any way you like. So I'm just going to press these down with my bone folder to make some nice sharp creases like that. So on all those creases, like that, and then I'll have one at the top like this. And this then will be my pocket. Just need to grab my scissors because I've got a little bit to cut off, but it's not complicated. So you'll see you have 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, and on the edges you've got 3 sections. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut away the 4 corner sections. I have got a blog post on my website with all these measurements already in and the instructions. I'll link that in the description box down below as well. So you don't have to write it down. You can just go over there and they're all already written down for you. Okay, so just take the 4 corner pieces off. Now, got those off there, so those are all done. The other thing I'm going to do is just take a little bit off the edge. So these are our tabs. We're going to close it up like this. I'm going to take a little bit so nothing gets caught and it folds nicely just by eye like that. So just into the corner. Don't have to measure it, just chop it off like that. And you end up with these nice tabs. Okay, so we've got those. Oh, I need to grab my corner rounder. Let me just grab that. Okay, so it's coming on. So if you have a corner rounder, use it. If you don't have one, it really doesn't matter. You don't have to do it at all. We don't carry a corner rounder anymore. I've got my very old one. You can get them. You can get them in any kind of place. Right. Okay. So this is now the basis of our pocket, like this. How cute is that? And so simple to make. Super simple. Now on my blog post, I didn't actually glue this together. I just made it, and then you secure it on the front. But today, like I did for my swaps, I am going to secure it with some tape. Oh, and I think the reason I didn't was because all my adhesive was still packed when I made the blog post. So here it is. I want some tear and tape. And I'm going to put it on these tabs here. Like that. Just take the top off. Simple. So we're going to glue this bottom flat, the big one, upwards, because that is... Also, make sure you don't put your adhesive too high, because these little bits stick at the top like a proper envelope here. So bring it down a little bit. You don't want too much glue on there. And that is that. So the next bit is making the insert. So I need a piece of cardstock to match. So I'm going to go with this pretty peacock colour. And I've got a piece here that I've been using for something else. And the dimensions for this piece of card that you're going to want to need is 4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. So just cut yourself a nice piece. 4 inches by 3 1/4 inches, like that. Okay, maybe I should have had a contrasting colour actually, because then it would make it pop. But we're going to use our last piece of designer series paper left, and I think I'll turn it over and use this bit so I get the contrast. And we're going to do it at 3 inches by 3 3/4 of an inch. So what have I got this side? I've got, so if I do that 3, if I do this 3 3/4, and still need that bit. Tiny little scraps we don't need. Oop. Okay, so I'm not sure if my glue is going to work. So I've got my 2 pieces that layer together. Get some better glue out. And I'm going to add some of my Tombow on the back. So do you carry a photograph around in your handbag of your children or your husband or your dog or your boyfriend or your girlfriend? What do you, I mean, you know, this is a great thing to have because you can pop your photos in here and keep it in your handbag and keep it safe. And it's a nice little thing to get out and show people. So you could put your grandchildren, like a little brag book, you could put your photos on here. So that's the bit that's going to go inside your envelope like this, like that. But now we are going to do some extra bits. Okay, so, oh, my hands are cold. I think what I'm going to do, what's on the back of here? That's quite a busy one, but I think that will work. So I'm going to grab the dies I'm using for this. Now you can use dies, you could use a circle punch, whatever you've got. I mean, look at the state of these. I've had these forever. These are the Stampin' Up stylish shapes, and they've got stitched squares in 4 sizes, circles and the banners. Super useful. As you can see, I've used them a lot. I'm going to take out the small, oh, that's not the smallest one. Ooh. I was using it yesterday. Did I leave it out? I might have. Or did I put it in the back? Oh yes, I popped it in the back. And I popped it back in. So this is the smallest of the circles. And I'm going to cut 2 of those out. And yeah, I might cut one out in the cardstock as well. So I'm just going to do that on my die cutting machine. So, very little waste. So I've got 1. Now, I've cut into the middle of this scrap so I can get the pieces with a pattern that I wanted, but you could just do them in a row and get lots out of there. So I'm going to put that to the side and grab my piece of this one and just cut out one piece in a pretty peacock card. Here we go. There we are. So let's move this to the side. So there's my die. If I pop it there, I won't lose it. Right, so this is the fun part, okay? Somewhere I've got a cute little paper clip. There it is, hiding under my scraps. I bought all these cute little paper clips with a little heart in. They're teeny tiny ones, and I attach them to all of my swaps to show people that this is where you attach your photograph. Now, you could glue a photograph on the inside here, but if you just attach it with a nice little paper clip, you can change it up as and when you want. So I thought as well, I brought in this. This is the Love This Moment stamp set, and it's perfect for memory keeping. I've been using it tons. It's got all the right things you need, but also it's got some little images, and this camera one is brilliant. So I'm going to use that one today. And I've already got a massive block out, but that's all right. And my Memento black ink pad. Right, let's ink that out well, because that's quite a dark colour, that peacock. So let's see, I'm going to stamp directly on the front and just put a little photo camera image there. There we go. Now, I'm going to add it on there with my photograph. I had a photo out that I printed off, a silly one. Let's have a look. What have we done with it? I might have put it away. I did have a silly photograph out of us at the Onstage event that I was going to pop in it. I might have popped it away again because being tidy and all of that, how odd. Oh well. You know what, it'll turn up when I come off the video. So add your little photograph in there. But if you're gifting this to someone and then you know, they might not know what to do with it, you can pop that there and they'll know to put the photograph in. I actually, I haven't got my sample, but it's on my blog. I actually put a little printed note in mine, because when we make swaps, we write inside what we've used and who's made it, so we can look at the instructions up, or we can, you know, connect with each other, which is a big part of swapping for us, is that we connect. So I had a load of instructions in mine and who I was, and that what this project was, so people know. But there, you can pop that in there. You can put your photograph in there. Be nice as a little gift for somebody, with a photograph already in there. Christmas would be great, wouldn't it? You could put photos of Christmas things in there. Right, so this is going to go on the front. So this is going to be our closure, and this is the fun bit. Right, I need to find some Stampin' dimensional foam pads. So the big ones work the best. And you just want one on the back of each of these. So good. Oh, on the back, not on the front, because I've decided I want the contrast. I need some baker's twine. Yeah, baker's twine. So we do a big pack of baker's twine. We do a couple actually. This one's super useful. This one is called the Baker's Twine Essentials Pack. And it goes on forever, which is great. And I used quite a lot of mine for swaps, as well as a load of linen thread, and it all works. So I like this kind of neutral colour, and I'm going to use this. So I'm just going to take a length. I may not need that much, but let's just cut it off to see. So glue these on. Just one on the top flap, kind of in the middle, like that. And one, I mean, if it has a direction, make sure you've got the direction right. If it doesn't, well, that does not matter then. There, and then your baker's twine will close it. Now, this is really interesting. I didn't realise this was so effective until I did it. It's like those old document wallets you used to get, you know, those like ones made out of craft, you know, or the brown paper envelopes that you used to get years ago, and they'd have things stamped on them, but they were closed with some twine. So what I'm doing is I've secured it simply by winding it around, and it just stays there. And then bring it up, round, so it's then very easy to open. So just up and round a few times is plenty. And then I'm going to cut a bit off because I don't really need it that long. You can measure yours so you don't have any waste. You know, I only had a bit of waste, but once you've made one, you know, you can see how much you would use. And there it is. Now you could do some stamping and put on there. You could put for you, or this moment, or I love this, or something like this. But that's how you make it. How cool is that? I love it. And I think making some of these at Christmas and giving them, you know, if you've got small children, giving them to the grandparents, how nice would that be? your Christmas photograph or whatever you would like. I might just do some stamping now to finish it off, but that is exactly how I made my swaps. And if you would like to see all the swaps I got back, as I say, I'll link that video down below. So I'm going to grab a little bit of scrap. I've got a load on my desk because when I make a project, any offcuts of basic white, I keep a little pile so that I can use it for whatever I need. So I've got a piece here. And I think I'm going to put this moment in. Look at all these lovely, this picture I could put in. But I think I'm going to put this moment. I could stamp it in black, but I think I'm going to find my pretty peacock ink pad. Also, I was thinking about the stylish shapes dies. I might show you how to do this if it fits. Right, we've got one large one. This one, does it fit on that one? It does, just about. So that's a great thing about these dies. They seem to fit pretty much everything. Right, let's have a look. Where are you, pretty peacock? I found you. Or gorgeous grape might be nice. Let's have a look at gorgeous grape. Because it's going to tone in with the colours in the papers. Right, let's have a look. This moment. This doesn't look like it's been cut very well. I'm going to cut that. We did lots of crafting at the Onstage event, which is great fun. It's a suitable event for everybody. You know, it's not just for those demonstrators who are running a business. It's perfect for everyone. But it is a demo only event. But if you would like to come to next year's, I'm so excited. I am so excited about next year's. It's in France. If you would like to come to next year's, it's open to everyone. You can just join my team and come along. I would love that. It'd be so fun. Okay, this moment, I'm going to stamp it in the middle, kind of, here. Like that. And then I'm going to cut it, not die cut it to begin with. I'm going to show you two different options. So let's cut that up. Oh, this is my old trimmer. Yes, that's what I meant. So we were doing some crafting at Onstage and they told us to bring our trimmer and we didn't actually need to because they provided them in the end. So, but I did take it and I thought, wow, you know what? I'm going to take my old one because if it gets battered about in the suitcase, but you know, it didn't get battered about and we didn't need it. So that was useful. Now that's why I've got my old trimmer out at the minute. I'm just going to trim this sentiment down a little bit. I think I might need a new blade in this one. It's getting a bit furry. It's been very well used. All right, so I basically stamped the sentiment and I have just cut it into a strip. So I am going to cut it at an angle like that. Okay, see that? And then where the angle is, I am going to put it on the end of where the sentiment is and then use it as a template to cut down it. How cool is that? It's a tip I learned at Onstage. So then you have an equal kind of like nice little banner. So you can do that and that will go nicely on here like that, this moment, or pop it down the bottom might be nice down there. But after I've shown you how to do that, I'm going to use this little die because it'll match the stitched circles inside. But you know what, they will both look nice is this big enough for my die? Maybe, but it might come out the side. So let's just grab a scrap. Stamp this moment. There we go. And then I'm going to pop it through my machine. I do like these stitch dies because not only do they stitch the thing that you're cutting out, they also leave a stitch relief. So you could, you know, if you wanted to, you could create something with a stitch relief on the aperture. So I'm going to put that to the side so I don't lose it, and I'm going to pop this and decide where I want it to go. I think I'm going to pop it down here. I'm very tempted to put some little gems on it, but the idea for it is that it sits in your handbag. And you can bet your bottom dollar those will get ripped off once they're in and out. So I'm going to leave it without. I think it looks nice as it is. So that's going to go on there with some glue. Again, I'm going to use my wet glue, but use what you like. I love the Tombow because it gives you a bit of room to move things about. So at this moment, straight, and there you have it. There you have it. How a cute little photo pocket. I wish I knew what I did with those photos I printed out and put ready, because that was so fun. Maybe it's yes, I put it on another paper. So I printed it on my own little photo printer. I printed this ridiculous photo. There's me. Oh, there's Michelle. She's my lovely team leader. There's Nikki. There's Nicole. There's Liz. There's me. And there's Yannicka. And we're all just playing having silly fun and having a photo taken on the stairs. And the Stampin' Up had put the Stampin' Up, that's kind of branding all over the stairs everywhere in this event. It was brilliant. So we were just having a very fun, silly moment. So I thought that was a great one to keep. So I think I'm going to pop that in here. So we'll fit in here. So I can take this little camera out, but yeah, you can leave that in there if you're gifting it and pop it on there. How cool is that? I love that. See, I can keep that. Now I could gift it to one of the girls that went to Onstage with me, or I could just keep it in my bag. Or I could actually make one and put photos of my children in. There you go. And that's how it works. How cute is that? I hope you've enjoyed it. It's not a 12 by 12 layout from me today, but a little bit of fun memory keeping. I hope you have enjoyed it. All the products I've used today are from Stampin' Up in my online Stampin' Up shop and are available there. And I hope you've liked it. Do let me know if you've enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up if you have. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the little notification bell down below for when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you next week. Take care. Happy scrapping. Bye-bye.